Um, but yeah, anyway, so here I'm joined by Tommy below me.
Ew.
And they're still getting ready, but that's Nick and Chloe. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing right now, but so it feels weird to, I guess, jump right into it without them in. And then my brother might be joining us. I don't know. And now I'm just trying to fill space until Nick sits down, and so we can start. Whoa! Now this is picking up. This is picking up way more light. I can have that all the way off. Yeah, how about that? That's still a little bright. Okay. I mean, I had like the intro thing. Do you want to like? It was really just, you know. I didn't really have anything planned for me personally. Just I don't know. Like, I guess I was just like, I like talking about movies, and I like sharing movies with other people. That's kind of the main idea, and just, you know, it seems fun for the podcast. I guess my creds are I've made a bunch of short films that have never won any awards for the past decade, and that's about it. Okay, not sure. Yeah, okay, it's technically I've won like a few awards.
I was about to say, didn't Garth Trek win something?
Garth Trek won, yeah, a couple. One big one, but yeah. It also won Best Line Use, which was like just like a special like side award. It didn't there was nothing, like no prize or anything behind it, but it won Best Line Use for one of his subtitled lines, which I thought was cool. Yeah, so technically I won a couple for that, and then for the one that which Nick was also part for this one. One year we got a Most Ambitious Award for our 2 short films, because we made 2 short films in the time that everybody else made one. But we felt like it was just kind of like a consolation prize, because they were like, oh, they put in all this extra work and went home with nothing. I think we got some money, maybe, but I really don't remember. It might have just been a certificate. I don't know. Like I said, you can. We already did our. It wasn't much, but we already did our brief things. If you just wanted to say, like, shout out your channel or whatnot.
My name is Nick Lancaster. I stream as Dr. Funk, which is twitch.tv/Dr_Funk PhD. That feels gross. And then with me is...
Oh, hi, I'm Chloe. I'm the partner in crime.
The partner in crime, many crimes.
Okay. I don't have anything to promote.
Oh no.
So.
This is going so well.
As one would expect.
Everybody has to have their humble beginnings, and like this
Aww. Look back and laugh, right?
Well, intro-wise, I had something prepared too.
Do it.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yay.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Here's a poem.
I did. Yeah, it's a haiku. So I'm Tommy. People call me Moose sometimes.
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna count it. I like to watch movies with an open mind.
Sure.
You know, like without any cynicism or, you know, preconceived notions, because it's more fun for me that way.
Yeah.
I just like well, we can talk about it when we talk about cats, but yeah, so I tend to like movies more than I should, like, and rate them higher than people who actually like do movies, you know, rate them. I'm just less critical, I guess. But I'm just here to have fun. So that's what I'm here for.
I thought you were
entertainment.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna end that story by saying like, I usually come in, I keep an open mind, and I like to have an open mind with movies. And then I watched Cats, and now I don't think that way anymore.
No.
But I am the creator as of a few hours ago, or a few minutes ago, of the dope and nope system.
Ooh,
So
I like
Oh,
that.
is that going to be that's your rating system?
that's my rating system.
Yes,
So, like,
that's so good.
So when I
like
watch
it.
the movie, things that I think are pretty dope go in the dope column. And then things against go in the nope.
That's so good.
So
Yeah.
so we can I have a few dopes and nopes prepared.
Yes.
Yes.
For Cats.
I like that. Sweet. Yeah, that was a lot better than mine. Both of you guys was a lot better than mine. I feel like I can be both. Like I feel like I also like to be really nice to movies, but also sometimes I can be really critical. I feel like generally I'm probably a little higher in my ratings for movies. My average rating is probably like a little higher than most. But I mean, like I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. But
You're more willing.
I was kind of agreeing with you, I guess. Yeah.
You're like more willing to like give movies like the benefit of the doubt, or like trying to be
Yeah.
like, yeah, I can see why this people might like this, even if I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, which is why Cats is going to be an interesting first movie to talk about. Because I use Letterboxd, so it's just a cool thing, so I can keep track of all the movies I watch, and it has like
Right.
a rating thing, and we'll get to it when I get to it. But it was hard to decide what I wanted to give it. And there's been movies where I'm like, man, this could be like a 1, or it could be like an 8. Like that's what the Fanatic was for me with John Travolta. I was like, I could
Fred
give this
Durst
like
movie?
a 0. Yeah, it could have went either way for me. And yeah, that's kind of a little. It was. Well, okay. We'll wait. We're not quite to the
Cats.
main film discussion, because I wanted to kind of, yeah. The other stuff. Oh. So, as I sort of said a little sloppily in my intro, I wanted to try to see an echo. Bring in other stuff, so it's not just the one and done. We come in, talk about Cats, and then we're done.
Sure.
So I guess we'll start out by. Oh, I might have swapped around in the message that I sent you guys the order, but I forgot because it's in the wrong order on my thing.
Oh.
But I had first off is supposed to be random chat, which again, if we don't have anything this week, I just kind of thought it like any one of us could just like at some point in the week, just message the other and be like, oh hey, I have a topic to start with,
Yeah.
and then we can just run with that. So I guess the topic this week is, I don't know, that I don't necessarily want it to be like movie news, like, ooh, did you see who was cast in the new Suicide Squad or something like that, like, or just general like movie news like that. Like it could be like I told you guys, it could just be like something interesting on the internet, just as long as it's like a thing that we can run with for like 5 or 10 minutes, something
Sure.
like that.
Yeah. I gotcha.
That said, I did, just like out of curiosity, I guess, just to see if there would be anything. And this isn't really like a thing. It's just kind of like a little anecdote. It's not a thing that we can really run with for a long time. But I'm gonna. How do I want to do this for the stream? I think I'm just gonna, because it's not really like, it's not like a visual thing. I'll probably do. Well, let me see if I do screen share. Okay, that'll work. Okay, that should work. How do I get back to the? Oh no, that messed up my. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I googled like movie news just to see if there was anything, I don't know, that
Sure.
like piqued my interest, and I I found which is hilarious. It's hilarious to me because I don't know. Christopher Nolan is somebody who I
Here we go.
love. I think he's like an amazing filmmaker. I think he's like what?
Chloe said, "Oh, here we go."
Oh,
He said Christopher Nolan.
But if you guys don't know, he was I think it's pretty shitty how he was really pushing to have Tenet premiere in the theaters.
Yeah.
When there's a fucking global pandemic going on and there's a reason the theaters are closed down. So okay, I'll try sharing the screen now. So somebody
Hold on.
let me pull it up again. Somebody I love finding out. This is like it's like a combination.
Purely
of, like, some
out
my
of
favorite
spite.
things is people like reincorporating like N64 cartridges or Game Boy Advance cartridges to do something like totally different. And
Oh no.
yeah, in 6 parts they put it on Game Boy Advance video to spite it. Like,
That is incredible.
I love it.
That's so
yeah,
good.
it's not this isn't like this doesn't necessarily fit my idea of like, because I don't know, this isn't something that we can really talk about, but it was still good. It was still really funny.
Well, it's like Christopher Nolan is such a like I don't know, he's like a lightning rod of discussion in like the film industry, because like I think like simultaneously he's a really really good director and also like a jackass. So it's like it's yeah, you constantly have to like levy those two things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think a lot of his like his I like a lot of his like practices on set, like how he like handles his set, and that he meaning like I really like specifically like as a filmmaker, I think I really like that, you know, he's a big proponent of natural, or not natural, but you know, like I can't think of the like real effect, practical effects.
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
everything like, you know, as little CGI as possible, and he's like, yeah, he's brilliant, but he's definitely has his head up his ass at the same time.
Yeah.
But I mean, could segue that into the main film discussion too, for the director of Cats too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess that was my, maybe a little brief, but that was my little.
No, that was good.
That
was a delicious morsel.
I don't know if I even have a Game Boy Advance anymore.
Oh, sad.
I still have my SP, but it's it doesn't work. But I love that thing so much, so I still have it because it takes up a little space and it's got sentimental value. So
Sure.
one of my favorite consoles, like, of all time too. So gotta keep it.
Yeah, you play it to death.
Well, did you guys watch anything this last week?
Well, you were, because you sent. Yeah, we have something actually.
Okay. Yeah.
We watched starting on Valentine's Day. We watched the Before trilogy.
Nice. Is that the first time you watched it?
That is the first time I've seen it.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it got a little messy near the end of Before Midnight. Spoilers. But yeah, I'd heard so much about him, and that was one of the ones that I picked up on the Criterion sale over the summer. Like, It was just like one that I had seen everywhere, and I'd heard about it, and I wanted it, and then I finally found it, and so we watched that, and it was pretty good. I mean, I enjoyed it as like a character study. Like, I think it took a second for me to get into, or for me to like kind of change my expectation of movies from being like rising action, whatever, plateau, falling action, and it was just like, no, this is just a relationship and two people walking around talking about stuff.
I like that is like one of my favorite trilogies. Like I absolutely love those movies. I was a little we watched because I watched it with Kalia. We watched the first two. I don't know, we didn't watch them like all in order. Like we watched Before Midnight like months after we watched Sunset, and so it was kind of spaced out. And I didn't I still really liked Midnight, but I didn't like it as much as I had remembered. But Sunrise and Sunset, I think, are still so solid. And yeah, they really are like it. They're hard movies to judge against something like 2001: A Space Odyssey or like
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan or something, But they're movies that are like maybe this is why, and even though it doesn't make it like a bad movie, but I think I just like how like chill and like easy those movies are to watch. And I think I think that's partly why Midnight hurts, or it hurts Before Midnight a little bit, that it's a bit longer than the other ones. It's still not it's not quite 2 hours, but it's pushing that. And Sunrise I think is like 90 minutes, and then Sunset is like 80.
Yeah.
It's really short. And then also the the ending half pretty much of Midnight, the big hotel scene. It and like I get it. I'm not saying that it it's not nice. It's sad, it's not that. And I love the ending of Midnight. I love the final scene with them sitting on the little pier. Because I also just love Ethan Hawke so much. He's one of my favorite actors, and I love him in those movies.
What were we gonna say?
I sobbed at the end of Before Midnight. I sobbed.
Oh, awesome! It's so, yeah, that where it brings it back around. And you're like, thank God. You like breathe this. You're like, oh my God, thank you, thank God, because it's so scary. Like everything before that. But anyways, what I was saying is why I think that it's hurt it a little bit for me as opposed to the other two. It's because of that stuff. Because like the first two are like I don't think. But do you guys know the show Terrace House? Or have you?
I've heard of
it. The first two movies are like Terrace House for me, where Terrace House is just it's a show that you watch, and it's just like some people have called it like meditation. Terrace House is like, it's like meditation as like a TV show. It's something that you watch and you just like, it's like being wrapped up in a warm blanket type thing.
Yeah.
And that's what the first two, huh? Hygge. That's right. That's what Kalia called it. Hygge. It's that like, there's a I'm gonna Google it, but you may have heard of it. It's like a Swedish word. It's spelled Hygge. It's Hygge. It means a quality of coziness and comfortable conviviality that engenders a feeling of contentment or well-being. It's Danish, I guess, not Swedish. And yeah,
like
that's
the
what
feeling
Terrace
you get
House.
when someone gives you a hygge.
So yeah, that's I think that's why I felt a little less towards Midnight. But the first two are still get me in that hygge mood.
Yeah, Before Midnight is like when someone hugs you and then they just hug you a little bit too hard at the end, like their nails like dig into your back, and then they like
and then like you feel like a little wet spot through your shirt, and they're like, are they crying? And then I guess the other thing, the other like question or whatever is, and I don't know if COVID could have thrown a wrench in this, but next year is 9 years from midnight, which
Stop
means,
it.
maybe,
Don't say that.
Do you? Oh, that would be nuts.
they'd both be I thought that it'd be they'd all be 50 too, which it would be like interesting, like, ooh, midlife, crisis type thing. And I remember back when they did midnight, because the previous two, both sunset and midnight, they were like half surprise drops. Like, people, when they made
Oh.
sunrise, they were like, oh, we didn't know we thought that Before Sunrise was just like it was just a movie. It was just an indie movie. Oh, but then they made a sequel. Okay, cool. And then after that, they're like, oh, they made a third one. Okay. Like, because everyone kind of seems like its own thing, its own ending. And it never like gives off the impression that it's a trilogy, and they're all 9 years apart, completely different like times in their lives. But that's kind of the idea. It's like that. It's the type of like time experiment thing that Richard Linklater likes to do with certain movies, like
Right.
Boyhood's the other famous one. So I guess now that since they did midnight, now people are expecting another one. They're like, okay, wait, they've done it a couple times, so now they are gonna do it again.
Well,
I hope so.
It would be
'Cause
the easiest movie to do of all time, because it's just two characters. You can social distance that shit, no problem. It's just two people.
That's true.
It's just
That is
two
true.
people
Yeah, that is true.
and their kids.
Yeah. And they like they like
Sorry, I was just finishing up Tenet real quick.
I was just about to say. I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's true. And like the movies, like, it's those two and Richard Linklater write it. So like, I'm pretty sure the way that they've done like the last two is they literally just like hole themselves up in a hotel together, and they just like knock the scripts out. So yeah, just get your bubble, and then make Before Dusk Till Dawn. I don't know what's the next. Where's the next
Twilight.
time?
Before
I don't know.
Twilight.
Twilight.
Before Twilight's good.
Before Twilight. Yeah.
Before Taco Bell
That's
third
actually.
meal.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
I see what
Please
you
don't
mean.
name it that. Don't name it that. It'd be awful.
We all long for the time before Twilight.
Oh.
Okay. Well, that's good. Mine was gonna be The Masked Singer. That's what I was gonna talk about.
Oh,
That's what
Oh my god.
not really, but
Oh, she's taking
not
her
really,
headset
but,
off.
not really, but
Do you want to switch
I
chairs?
do love that show. They're switching
I know
over.
what I'm doing.
Good a time as any to move
I'll just
on
lift that
to
one above my
the
head.
main
Actually, here. Pull that
movie
one that way.
discussion,
Pull
which,
that one that way.
as people presumably know by now, is Cats,
And then
from
Scribble
2019,
that
directed
one.
by Tom
Here,
Hooper.
This one.
Your
way.
I don't know. Has anybody?
That way, so then I can
I
pull
guess
this one
we'll
back in
we'll
here.
come to Nick and Chloe last, but do you guys have any previous?
I know it's
Because
coming,
I
I'm
have a
sorry.
very limited previous experience, like I guess like knowledge of Cat
There we go.
before the movie, but it was a Broadway play. Like I was aware of it, but
Okay.
so I don't know. Moose, you
I'll
wanna
have to adjust
any
it
anything?
a bit, but
Yeah,
we should
yes,
get-
same. I knew it was a play. I hadn't seen it.
Okay.
Like, it has a reputation among people that I know of like being awful. Even though apparently it was kind of a big hit when it was first produced, the stage production.
Are you talking about Cats now?
But yeah. I haven't seen the stage production, but I mean, like, I was, just bored on YouTube like a few weeks ago, and I watched somebody's rundown of the differences and why they hate the movie and stuff. And so who was it?
Was it Lindsay Ellis?
That sounds right.
Hey, I've seen that one, and she's like a pretty YouTuber. So
yeah, so yeah, it turns out I have a lot of the same opinions after having seen the movie. We can talk about that later.
Yeah,
but yeah, really, I wanted to. I was kind of holding out on watching the movie until, or if they released a butthole cut.
Oh, yeah.
But
I think that's the one that's on. Is that the one that's on HBO Max right now?
I mean,
You're kidding.
I hadn't seen the buttholes, but it's definitely the hands. Like you can see all the hands.
Right.
Yeah, the one that, because we saw it in theaters, and I think because I remember like being disappointed, not because the movie, but because it was like the patched version. It was like Cats V 1.01, and like they had fixed all of the CGI errors from like the original theatrical cut, and we were just like watching it on HBO Max, and like you can just straight up see their hands and feet. Like you can see Judi Dench's like wedding ring.
Yeah, so that might be the butthole cut. I hadn't heard it put that way before.
So what's the fixed one? Because I thought the hands were the fixed one. Because I even made a comment when we were watching it, like why don't they have paws? Like that might also look strange, but I mean, it's not like it doesn't look strange. So like, why don't they give them paws?
I thought
Here, go ahead.
I thought if they had just went with the original like stage production costumes, they looked so much better.
Okay,
It's like they had human noses still. Like that was the most bizarre thing to me was the noses. And in the stage production, they just put like a little bit of black paint like right under the on the bottom, and it looked like legit.
Less is more.
Cat stage production. How those look?
It's definitely like 80s style, but it's way better. Way better.
It's so hard to like. I don't know if this is me defending the movie and like saying that it's better, but I hate how they look in the stage production. It's always bothered me. And it could be because like I almost wonder. I feel like I don't categorize it in the same like room in my mind palace of like other childhood trauma, like the Crimson Clown from Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh, hell yeah.
But
Okay.
I feel like there's like some weird like it like triggers me now seeing the old stage production because it was on a tape for probably one of our Disney VHSs for some Disney movie, but there was a trailer, and this was what I was talking about, my very limited experience with Cats. My experience with the Cats is a trailer for it that ran before one of my movies that I had on VHS. Mm-hmm. So every time I watched that movie, I would be like, now watch the beloved stage musical for the first time in your own home, and then rum tum tug, there is a curious cat.
Oh, I think I remember that. I think you just triggered something in my mind.
Brain blast.
Yeah, because my grandma had a bunch of those like Disney VHS tapes, and I think I had stored that in my mind palace as well. And the way that you just sang Rum Tum Tugger made me think of like that screen that's like coming soon.
Yeah. And now our feature presentation.
Yeah. But anyways, what I was trying to say was that like as a kid, that always the makeup always creeped me out. So I think it's even though it wasn't like that trauma that like really scary shit like does to a kid. I was just watching a video earlier about another movie critic that I watch because there's this one guy, I don't know who started it, but he did a series where he like asked a bunch of his YouTube friends to do a video on childhood trauma, meaning like movies or shows that they watched as a kid that, you know, I think we all have that. Those things that just like fuck you up. And it was funny, like I'd never really thought about it before, but he just like said it in like a throwaway sentence too, that like the reason that like stuff like terrifies you to your core so much. Like I have the couple things, like I said, like the Crimson Clown from Are You Afraid of the Dark. I would watch it now and it's nothing now, you know. But as a kid, it was in my nightmares for Travis waved at you, Kalia.
For me, it's The Great Mouse Detective. I mean, I love that movie, but The Great Mouse Detective is like that, and like The Fox and the Hound were like my two. Like, I don't know if I necessarily call them trauma films, but like, let's just say they were on the darker side of like some of the stuff that Disney was putting out at the time.
Mine's Brave Little Toaster.
Oh, great. You know what freaked me out? That I don't know why is the beginning of the Goofy movie. Max's like nightmare where he like turns giant and stuff. I don't know. I guess it was a key from a young age that I'm not into inflation porn. And then another is the Pinocchio movie with JTT where they all turn into donkeys.
Oh yeah,
it fucked me up.
Yeah, that's
anyways,
horrifying.
but my what I was getting to anyways was that he said that because somebody commented that like that because he was watching it on like a live stream and he was like playing what it was that it was some Canadian show, I don't know, and somebody was like, this is like being on LSD, and then he's like yeah, that's why it fucks you up so much. It's because when you're a kid, it's like you're always on LSD because you can't differentiate what's real and what's not. So I was like, damn, I think that kind of makes sense. That's why stuff like you see something, you're like, oh, that's real. That thing is gonna, like, especially something like Are You Afraid of the Dark? That's like a scary show made for kids. You're like, oh, that thing's gonna haunt me because I told a lie or something.
Yeah, it's like an animated version of like the arm guy from Arrested Development. It's just like these weird morality tales where he's just like, and that's why you never tell a lie, and like Pinocchio's just like and he's like
yeah, that idea about not being able to differentiate between fantasy and reality as a kid. Like when I was like, I don't know, 4, I had a nightmare that like the front door of the house came alive and chased me around and tried to eat me. And so for like years, I was scared of big wooden doors.
That's very specific. It's a very specific fear.
I like how we're getting into trauma. Like this is like a psychiatrist session.
I mean,
immediately.
It's not like
welcome to our.
I think it really explains like where we're at after watching this movie.
I was just gonna say, isn't that like the natural like progression of where a discussion of Cats 2019 should go?
It should start
directly
starting
into
there.
Trauma.
Yeah.
That said, even though I did not like the makeup and I still don't, it still really bothers me. I did like the Rum Tum Tugger song. That was like the one. That and Memory were the 2 songs that I knew prior to the movie, really. Mm-hmm. And then I guess I knew the main theme, kind of like the I like kind of had like heard that or whatever. And I always loved the Rum Tum Tugger song, like especially as a kid. And then Memory, just because that's like, I feel like that's the one song that's kind of transcended the musical. It's the one that like, even if people don't know that it's from Cats, they've heard. It's not like everybody's heard it, like a Michael Jackson song or something, but it's like it's out there. It's more out there.
It's the hit single from it.
Yeah, and
it's also the one song in the entire show that doesn't have any silly made up words in it.
That's the real staying power. That's why.
Well, it's probably because he was like, I gotta have something not fucking weird in this so that people will be like,
like
wow, he's great.
I was reading about it, and like even the word jellicle, it's like a made up word that like his daughter came up with or something. Like,
was it him or was that not in the book? because you guys know what it's based on, right? You guys know what the play is based on.
Cats. Right?
It's based on Old
Cats
Possum's book. It's based on Old Possum's. What is it? Book of Practical Cats by T.S. Eliot.
Oh yeah, I didn't know.
But it does say Practical Cats, so maybe I thought it was Jellicle Cats.
I just
Yeah,
felt
yeah,
like the word. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's basically like a series of like short stories or poems, and each one, like the first one is the naming of cats, and then each one is like about a different cat, and that's what the song, you know. So like Rum Tum Tugger is a story. Oh yeah, it is in T.S. Eliot. There's the Song of the Jellicles, and then they have Old Deuteronomy. I don't see one about Grisabella, the one that sings Memory, and maybe that's
Memory
why
was totally original.
I think the character was too, or maybe she was like in some other ones or something. But yeah, that would maybe explain why that's has like a different feel to it, that song.
Oh, okay.
And what were you gonna say, Travis?
I was just gonna say that it felt like Jellicle was just like a word that he forced in there. Like he had to write an essay with a certain word count, and he was like, "I'm just gonna throw Jellicle in to fill it out."
I'm gonna
At the beginning, I was like, "Okay, dude, we get it. You came up with a cool word."
Jellicle.
Yeah.
Well, it's
And
like
then they kept like repeating it with like accenting different syllables of it over and over again.
Yeah, I can't.
Yes. Yeah.
well, it's like
Somebody was like, "You need to have a musical written by March 17th," and it was like March 16th. He was like, "Oh shit, I have to write that musical." Okay, Jellicle. Okay, let's go with that. We'll start there.
just as an idea board, and like that's like the big word in the center of it.
Yeah, it says Jellicle and then cats, and that's it. And then he just went from there.
Honestly, that was in my nope column.
What?
The
Jellicle?
overuse of the word Jellicle,
Oh, really?
especially in the opening number.
Yeah, especially then.
Well, it's like for me, I'm not. I can appreciate musicals, but I'm not really like a big musical guy, like at all. And I think when I went to go see it, I was under the impression that there was going to be. It was, I guess, the type of musicals that I do like are ones where there's like plot and story happening, and then the occasional song. But no, this thing was like goddamn singing the entire time.
Yeah.
It was all introductions too. I was thinking like they're introducing everybody to this new cat, and it's like, okay, so there's cats all of the time, so they're doing the same thing every night, singing these same songs. I was so confused.
It's for the ball. The ball is once a year.
Oh, it just happened to be at the same. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't get that. I was looking for the buttholes, I guess. And
It's like the first half of the Suicide Squad movie, because that like almost like the first like 40 minutes of that movie, it's so ridiculous. If you guys haven't seen it, it's literally like each character gets introduced. Like, here's Harley Quinn, here's Killer Croc.
Yeah,
watch them do this cool action stuff, and then they get arrested, and then it fucking does it again. I swear to God, they all get introduced like twice. And then like halfway through, Will Smith's like, so some kind of Suicide Squad. And then like the action actually starts. And it's still bad, but I just realized that Suicide Squad is pretty much cats. Yeah, and usually like I kind of like am in the same boat, but as you, Nick, that like, yeah, I can appreciate them. There's some that I love, movie and stage, but like I'm trying to think of like stage ones. Like, I mean, I haven't ever really seen a stage musical, but I've seen like, you know, I've seen Sweeney Todd, and Sweeney Todd that's mostly or all singing, isn't it? I think maybe it's not.
I think the ratio's a little bit different. Like there's way more like dialogue and like character development. I saw Book of Mormon, and Book of Mormon is incredible. I've seen that. Book of Mormon was like nuts, just crazy good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one I wanted to see.
Yeah, this wasn't really like a standard musical. It like I was warned about the like lack of a plot going into it, and so I tried to see it more of like a concert, with several songs, and that has an overarching theme,
That is it's not just like Cats isn't the only one that's just singing. There's that is like a subgenre or something of musicals. I don't really know like what like Les Mis. It's
Same
the
director.
thing. It's just singing. Yeah, same director too. But a different. I don't think that's Andrew Lloyd Webber. I think it's a different.
No.
I might be wrong, but
No, it's not Andrew Lloyd Webber.
okay. And then Hamilton is straight up music, and
yeah, and those have stories though.
those have stories. Yeah. So it's not like just because it's all singing there can't be any plot. It's just Cats,
Yeah,
I would call those like an opera.
Cats 2019 should have just been like a Fathom event that you pay extra to go see like one night. I don't think it should have had like a theatrical release for like 4 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I almost feel like it was like, this is my conspiracy theory, that it was like almost a marketing choice to make it bad, to get people to go and like not necessarily hate watch it, but like, hey, do you want to induce a fever dream? Go see this movie in theaters.
Almost like it's a meme to go watch it.
Yeah.
Kinda.
And that's I feel like
turn into a cult movie.
I feel like more and more things are like that now. Like I feel like sometimes Netflix shows and Netflix movies, I feel like when they're made, sometimes there are certain scenes that are like, we're making this to make it so relatable that this is going to become a meme on the internet. Like the halftime show with The Weeknd when he's like looking through the Hall of Mirrors or whatever, that part. For like 2 days, that was like me looking for my phone when I drop it in my car seat, or like, but like memes just, they don't have a high shelf life anymore because the internet moves so fast now. But I wouldn't be surprised if like they kind of leaned into like, yeah, this movie sucks, but also it's like very, very strange and surreal, and you're going to go see it anyway, purely out of curiosity.
That is kind of,
a freak show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like intentionally making The Room.
Which usually I hate.
Yeah, that's what.
But you love it this time.
Yeah.
That's not exactly the word. I had a feeling.
Got him.
I didn't think I would be bringing up Suicide Squad as a point of reference this many times in a single discussion, but that was another one where like I saw it after it was in theater. I saw it like when it was on rental. I think it was when I was working at the video rental store, and I just like picked it up, and so it had already kind of gone through the process of like, people were excited for it, and then everybody realized that it sucked, and it had got like panned critically and everything, and so I was expecting it to be bad, but at the same time I was like I guess I was expecting to be disappointed with how bad it was. Like I was like, okay, it's probably going to be bad, but like people said that like Batman versus Superman was bad, and like that is a bad movie, but it's not like it's just kind of boring, and it's like whatever. But Suicide Squad, I was so happy that it was like, I was like, this is like, if this did not have the budget and this cast, this is on the fucking level of like the type of movies that get called like the worst movies of all time. Like it is that bad. And I feel like Cats is like really close to that for me. It wasn't quite as like, I saw it and I was like, man, that was like watching The Room on a budget, which is what Suicide Squad was. But it was close. It was really close to that for me. And it's not like it wasn't that because there was some good in it. Because the only song I was fucking looking forward to, I mean, I guess Memory, although I knew I don't like Jennifer Hudson, and I knew I wasn't really going to enjoy it, and I was disappointed by it because I think the old whatever one is on like Spotify or whatever one that you normally hear. I don't know the name of the lady who does it, but
Sure.
it's just a lot better. I thought that her thing was a little weak, and maybe I'm a little biased because I don't like Jennifer Hudson, but so the only one I was looking forward to other than that was fucking Rum Tum Tugger, and it fucking sucked. So that was like my only real like point of reference. Like, okay, I know this song pretty well. I'm like it's one that I have like I can compare it to like the original to kind of see how it weighs, like, because it's the one thing, like, okay, it looks fucking weird. It's there's a lot of issues with like the production design and everything, but the songs are the same. So that's the one thing where it's like, okay, if the songs are good, that's something. It's a musical, maybe. And so then when that came up and it was just so that's like fairly early on in it. It's not like right away, but
Yeah, it's
that just set me up to be
Just
not looking
disappointed.
forward to the rest of it.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was I didn't like how Jason Derulo sang it at all. He's got to be more like, I don't know, like cocksure, like, I don't know, like the guy who is on the VHS trailer for it. That's the version that I know.
a very niche like reference. He needs to fit that mold perfectly.
Well, that's like that's the guy who was on Broadway. He didn't just
Oh,
do
it was a recording of the Broadway show.
Yeah, that guy didn't come in to do the trailer for a VHS. He was in the Broadway show.
Hey, maybe he did.
Yeah.
We need this one clean take from you
Yeah.
for TJ.
No, I think if you go on, like, if you Google, like, or if you try to listen to like Cat's original stage production, I'm pretty sure it's that guy. They're that recording.
Right.
That said, I did like one song, and I've listened to it a couple times since.
Okay.
As Mr. Mistopheles. I really like that song. I have listened to the original one more because I don't like all the stopping and starting they do in the movie, which I get, it's like for the scene, but I don't give a fuck about the scene because it's a bullshit movie. So I like stopping and starting that they do in it, but I did like that song. Like, genuinely, I enjoyed that song. I
don't know, man. Yeah, that seems kind of unfair. Y'all are criticizing it for the lack of a plot, and then the one time that they're actually like trying to tell a story with a song, you're like, nah, fuck, just sing the whole song for me. Fuck you.
Well, just because there is a plot doesn't mean that I'm interested. Like, that you can't have not a plot for 60% of your movie.
Yeah.
And then it just happens to be the best, meaning most listenable song in the whole thing, happens to be when like the climax to your plot happens.
Yeah.
That like no, I think that's fair. If it's a bad plot, a weak plot, and I like the song, sure, I can fucking tell him to shut up about the plot because I don't care about the plot because it's bad. And it's so like you can also, it's so transparent that it was just put in there because it's like it's a movie, so we got to have something. Because I'm pretty sure in the stage production, McCavity is a character, but I don't think there's the whole like, oh, he's kidnapping people and we have to stop him and whatever. I don't think that's a thing. I think Mr. Mistopheles' song is just like, it's just like all the other ones where it's like, let's talk about this cat now. It's not like trying to get him to amp him up to do his magic or whatever. So yeah, it's just like, it was really forced.
That is the one song that gets stuck in my head whenever I watch that movie, which has been
it's
two
good.
times. So.
It's catchy as hell.
It's still stuck in my head.
Well, it's just
I'll forget the like tone, not the tone, but like the how that, whatever you call that, like
the verse.
No, I know the lines, but just like how the stopping and starting of it. I don't know music terms.
Sure.
Sure. The rhythm.
The rhythm, yeah, that's probably it. But like for like the 2 or 3 days after I watched it, every day, as the instant I woke up, it would be in my head and I'd have it perfectly.
That's awesome.
Well, I never. I can't think of how it goes right now. I mean, I know the lines. Well, I never met a cat as clever.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I never had you ever. Dun, 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 a magical Mr. Mistopheles.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. So I don't know. I've talked a lot, so I guess I'm opening the floor for you guys. Want to?
I liked the movie. I had fun. It was fun for me. I mean, yeah, there were a few things that sucked, but I think I might watch it again. I had a good time.
Damn.
Yeah, I did. I mean, like the opening number, sing Angelical so many freaking times.
Yeah.
Was I made the conscious decision during that song, like if I'm going to survive the next hour and a half, I need to let go a little bit. And I did. And I had a blast. I mean, there's definitely some things in my nope column, but there's a lot of things in my dope column too.
Okay, let's go down. I want to hear what's in your
okay.
dope and nope.
Okay, so the very top of the list on my dope column, the number one dope of this entire movie. There's a moment during the McCavity song in the dance where Taylor Swift puts both her hands on Idris Elba's chest. And oh my God. Oh my God. I'm going to have that as a GIF on repeat or something because it just lit something inside of me.
It awoken something.
I'm a new man now after having seen that dance.
Oh man.
But seriously though, I mean the Skimbleshanks the Railway Cat song and the dance with the tap dancing, and they made it sound like a train like starting up with the tap dancing. That was incredible for me. And I was singing along, and I was like, moving and grooving, and just, really like imagining, because they're singing from the cat's perspective, right? And so it's like they all feel like the cat is the one who actually makes the train go on time, and who makes sure that everything happens. And they're even saying like, yeah, okay, the conductor did his thing, but Skimbleshanks was there just in case he forgot to make sure everything's happening. And I just love that idea of the cats just feeling like they're in charge. And
I love that. I love that concept of Skimbleshanks. I think I would rather read the Skimbleshanks the Railway Cat story from T.S. Eliot's Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats.
I think
rather than the song, because again, it's just in general I didn't like the songs. They're not very good.
You didn't even like the tap dancing?
Well, the tap dancing is impressive. Yes, I did like. Yeah, there. It's not like every element of the movie was terrible, and I think that's why. I think that's partly why I'm like it. Like
Travis
I said,
disagrees.
It's not quite on the level of. Well, no, I already said I like the Mr. Mistopheles song. I mean, you can count that as it's not original to the movie, I guess. So, but whatever.
So, one thing about the Skimbleshanks song is so my dad, famously in my family, hates Cats, the musical and the animal. And
Oh, okay.
he was just kind of sitting in the other room, doing his own thing while I was watching the movie. And there was at one point during the entire movie, did he hear something going on and was interested enough to stop what he was doing and come into the room and watch the rest of the song with me. And that was the Skimbleshanks song, because it was that cool.
And then he went to the animal shelter and got a cat.
No, then he
went to the
made a
animal
joke
shelter
about
and
how he wants
volunteered to
barbecue
euthanize
cats
a
for dinner
cat.
tonight.
Oh, okay. Basically,
He's still himself.
yeah. That's good that cats didn't, change who he is as a person.
No, he's still my dad.
I have to say that is probably the only part of the movie that I liked, and I wouldn't even say I liked the whole thing, but the tap dancing was pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
I think
It was
the
good.
biggest nope for me, everything about Rebel Wilson in this movie is the absolute.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
And
I did think it was cool that David Cronenberg guest directed her scene with all that body horror shit.
Didn't you seem like just super horny the whole time?
the
I
whole
just
movie's
thought,
horny.
like,
the whole movie is so horny.
yeah, but
The way that they all
I mean,
look-
she kept like taking her tail and like putting it up. I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
she's got some kind of like
Yeah.
fixation with that. It's like,
Yeah, like that's not a thing that cats do. I guess
No,
like sometimes
no.
they'll like bite it, like they'll do like the chasing their tail type thing, but
yeah,
they don't like hold their tail because they're scared or something.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Was this Tom Hooper like trying
Howard
to?
the
Yeah, trying to like come out as a furry to the world, and everybody's like, "No, Tom, there's other ways that we could animate this," and he's like, "No,
Nope, this is my
cat
vision.
fur technology." I forgot what it was called, but there was like a term for
Yeah, wait,
for
wasn't
like the special CGI. Like,
wasn't like the amount of detail in the CGI in this movie like, and this isn't saying it's good. They did it in such just like a backwards, unintuitive way to get it to work. I feel like I remember hearing about that, like in terms of like the blue screens and the green screens, or the little balls, the foam balls that you put on like motion capture suits.
yeah, like yeah.
I feel like I read somewhere that like the way that Tom Hooper did it was so bizarre and weird that it's kind of a miracle that the movie even works. And it's probably why that like the fact like they just straight up didn't put motion capture on their hands, and that's probably why it looks like how it does. Or they didn't put the motion capture balls on their buttholes. And that's
Well, it's like
I did notice that. It seemed like a lot of times
they just had in their motion capture suits, they had like the ass flaps and like those old timey pajamas.
they probably had some on there. They just didn't have enough to really get exactly.
I
what
think
was
I think
going
that's what it was. And they're like, how did you make
on. I was
this
talking about
movie?
the butthole exactly.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing that I really hate about Rebel Wilson, let me go down. I have a nope or dope list about Rebel Wilson, and it's mostly nopes. But I don't know. I don't know if I want to call it like the like Marvel Cinematic Universe humor, but that sort of like constantly like witty banter type
Little
stuff.
comments.
Like,
Oh,
they
yeah.
can fly now, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like
I can dance too.
yeah, it's just like that where like the joke just keeps on going and going. And it's like get it because it's awkward because I'm making this joke. Oh, I hate that shit so much.
It was like, and it was also just that like, because I get that like I'm always like aware of that in like movies, not like that Joss Whedon banter, whatever. And like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm still like aware of it, and but like the jokes were like it was like, and I think the script was at least co-written by Tom Hooper, which like makes sense because it's all her little jokes and asides sounded like they were written for like a milk toast British sitcom from the 1990s or something.
Yeah.
They were so just like that was a joke.
Yeah.
Do you think he just got neutered? Because those notes are like, you know.
I looked up Tom Hooper. He did the King's Speech. He has like an Academy Award for Best Picture. And he made Cats.
No, see, that's the thing. And that's because Cats isn't his fucking wheelhouse.
Well,
his wheelhouse is like British period pieces. And he's pretty good at them.
Yeah.
I fucking hated Les Mis, but I like The King's Speech. And I love John Adams, an HBO miniseries he did.
Oh, is that with Paul Giamatti?
Yeah. That show is fucking great. That is Tom Hooper's best work, in my opinion.
Is he just really passionate about cats then? And he's like, no, I need like
I think he did Les Mis, and he got. I mean, I don't think that one won. I know Anne Hathaway got an Oscar for her performance, but it was like nominated for. It was one of those Oscar baity type movies.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know if it got anything other than her performance. And then he did The Danish Girl after that, and I think that one didn't. That was also kind of Oscar baity, and that one was also pretty decent. I liked that movie.
Didn't Eddie Redmayne win for that?
No, he won. That was right after The Theory of Everything.
Oh, Theory of Everything.
He won for The Theory of Everything. And yeah, that was also like clearly like an Oscar baity type movie. It kind of checked all those boxes, but I don't think it got anything. I think it would just kind of went under the radar. So my thinking is even though the one that he won for was The King's Speech and not Les Mis, I was thinking that like he's like, well, I don't know, people like Les Mis, so I guess I'll do another musical like that because people thought that it was good, I guess.
Yeah.
Because there were some very Oscar baity like elements to Cats too, which is like the funniest fucking thing in the movie. That like he genuinely thought like, God, watching Jennifer Lawrence do Memory with snot dribbling down like her face the whole fucking time. Like, okay, we know you're supposed to be sad. Like,
constant stream.
It was ridiculous, and I the whole time watching it, I was reminded of Anne Hathaway in Les Mis, and I was like, that's what he's trying to do. He's like, he wants Jennifer Hudson to get Best Supporting Actress in this. And Xavier, what's up?
Did Taylor Swift get a nomination for her song from this movie?
For the song, yeah, I don't think they won, but they did.
Weird.
And that was another thing, is like they wrote one original song so that they could get a nomination for Best Original Song. So
they can put that on the box art when they put it in the $5 bin, you know.
Yeah.
Academy Award nominated song by Taylor Swift.
Yeah. It was weird hearing her sing in a British accent. That was I hated
weird.
that.
Yeah, just why?
Yeah, what? Because
maybe she's from out of town.
They're cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like the way that Ian McKellen just kind of like, oh my god, PBR delivery. Thank you, thank you. The way that Ian McKellen just kind of like stumbles into the movie. I was watching. I was just like, he was like, "Hey,
okay,
you guys remember me? I was Gandalf. I've been in good movies before."
I guess if I'm being genuine, because I don't want to. I try not to be the critic that is just like completely like I do try to look for good in movies, even ones that I hate, even when it's really difficult. And like this isn't even really like a thing for the movie, but Ian McKellen was pretty cute in this movie.
Ian McKellen, yeah, he was a cute as hell kitty, I think.
His first appearance, I was like, oh no, what are they doing to you right now? And then when he sang a song, I was like, okay, you could see some of the charisma, and I was like, okay, all right.
Like I don't really liked how it went, but
and then he was pathetic.
That was another song that I kind of like. I enjoyed the scene somewhat, even though I wasn't really into the song. But I was like, yeah, I kind of like the character. And
yeah, and then they kind of took it away from him when he in the moment when he pushed that other cat off the plank or whatever, and then he was like, the Friar for the cat fell is like.
The fiend of the
Okay, that was dumb.
Meow meow meow.
Yes, I was just gonna say that. That was part of his introduction. I was just like, no, they're gonna ruin this man right now. He's never gonna work again. This movie.
This is
So got the meow 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 thing.
It was almost like he couldn't sing, so they covered it up. We gotta have Ian in this somehow. Let's just have him meow a few times. And then he came through, and I was like, okay.
They brought him in for like the ADR. And he's like, oh meow meow.
Can we get one more?
Isolate it. Yeah.
Holy shit!
They originally brought him in to sing for Ray Winstone's part, because at least he's better than Ray Winstone.
Who's Ray
Winstone?
I'm sorry.
He was the
bad guy on the boat.
I think he was Growl Tiger. I think that was his name.
Cockney accent.
The Cockney.
Yeah, he was like
okay.
McCavity's like henchman dude. And he
Okay.
only sang for like a little bit, but
Yeah, he rhymed Ames with Thames, and then James Corden made that comment.
Oh
about
yeah.
it.
Very
I
Marvel
also
joke.
hate James Corden. I hate him so much. I really do.
You're not really an outlier there, I don't think.
They picked like two beloved Brits and then two of just like the worst that Britain has to offer.
He was made for that role.
Yeah, he was made for that role.
Are you talking about Rebel Wilson?
Rebel Wilson is no, wait.
Yeah.
she's an old
Australian.
She's the weird one.
No, we already talked about Rebel Wilson.
Yeah,
no.
Put a period on that.
We no, like Judi Dench and Ian McKellen are like I feel like pretty beloved British actors, and then James Corden and Rebel Wilson, man.
Her too, though. When she was singing, I was like, man, she's like dying right now. She could like barely get words out. It seemed like she was like, I felt bad for her.
This is elder abuse.
It was just like she probably pretended, oh, this is a choice. This is how I'm going to play the character. But it was really just because she like between every line she had to hit an oxygen tank. Like,
She was supposed to be in the 80s one.
Oh,
she tore her Achilles tendon.
Oh, she was.
So that's why they gave her this role.
is she mad because I'm talking shit about Judi Dench?
No. She said apparently Judi Dench was supposed to be in the '80s one, but she like hurt her Achilles tendon or something and couldn't do it.
Oh, that's kind
So
of
that's
that's kind of neat. That's nice.
Oh,
Give her a mic.
Yeah.
I did that,
Yeah,
and
why doesn't she have a mic?
because you guys can't hear her because my interface is weird. Here, I'll make a new Discord account. I'll hand her my phone and she can talk into my phone. Join the call. Oh, howdy, Xavier.
Oh, he popped in yours too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everybody talked about the little mouse children and the little like cockroach people and the Rebel Wilson song, but the thing that you hear about less is her unzipping her skin suit. More underneath, and then she does it again.
Yeah, she does it twice. And that's like her secret like technique of escaping the chains. It's like, oh, that's right. This is actually extra skin that I have. Let me just slip out of it real quick and rescue everyone.
Gumby Cat. Was she like a great big fat person? Jame Gumby Cat. There it is. All right, I got it.
Oh, nice. Damn.
Got
That's
it.
Good.
I'll give him props.
Yeah, you were
Go ahead.
talking about okay.
Let's Brady Bunch this shit.
Looking for the good in the movie. Just if you just ignore all of the like
Movie?
people and cats and animals.
Then you have the sets, which are also bad.
I liked the sets. I liked the colors. I liked the lighting. Like how it was like the whole neon signs lighting up the alleyway kind of thing, and then everybody was kind of like purple or green or yellow, and I liked that. I felt like I was a cat in an alleyway lit by neon signs. I don't know, like
the size of a rat, maybe.
I felt like zipping up my fursuit.
I feel like also the perspective was weird. I couldn't tell how big.
Yes.
I couldn't tell how big the cats were at a given time because they were out on the street.
That's why I said the sets suck.
And like you see doors and windows, and you're like, okay, these cats are they're humanoid. So then you're like, okay, so they're approximately human sized because like I could see the cat on the street and I could see the door over there, and it's like they're about the same size. And then you go into like Rebel Wilson's den of horrors, and it's and like the table and chairs are huge. And you're like, well, how are they? Just big chairs? Are they little door? My perspective was just completely gone.
It reminded me of the scene from Eternal Sunshine where
Joel
is like a little kid under the table, and it's like, okay, it's obviously like a weird little perspective thing they're doing, but like, it was like you can't live in that scene for a whole movie.
Yeah, at least they but at least it's like more. Like, I don't know if you say like believable in that, but it feels like they like put more work in just that little scene in Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah.
Or like I was gonna say maybe Tom Hooper was like, hey, they did some like visual. I forget what that's called. There's a name for that like the depth of field like illusion thing.
The fixed perspective or something?
Forced perspective or something?
Yeah,
like
forced perspective.
They did that with Speaking of Ian McKellen, they did that with Lord of the Rings too. Or was that what you're about to say?
That's where I was going to go. That he's like, hey, Ian, didn't they do this on Lord of the Rings? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, okay, you're in charge of telling us how to do that. Like, wait, that wasn't me. I was an actor.
It's like, okay, Ian McKellen, your memory from 2003. Go.
Yeah, I agree. The perspective was really wrong, but the colors. I liked I will die on this hill. Those were some beautiful fucking colors.
No one can take that away from you.
Yeah. I'm gonna get some lights that color in my room and just live in that space because I thought that was beautiful.
Xavier said real quick, all of you give your rating out of 10.
Oh, that comes at the end, baby.
Yeah, stick around.
Yeah, stick around. I gotta say, I'm glad that there's one person here that actually liked the movie, so that it's not just like total bashing. So
yeah, exactly. I don't want these to be like in cases where it's a generally bad movie, generally perceived as bad movie. I'll say
objectively bad. Just
objective. Okay. Yeah, I am also glad that we have someone who can not be so critical, not be so harsh.
Yeah. It's like
Thanks.
but like everything that you like about the movie is like that 30 Rock bit when Tina Fey goes to see all of like Jenna's plays, and she's like, the programs were so nice. Or like, like that kind of stuff. Like the room was well lit. Like these like kind of backhanded compliments.
I'll say I almost said respect.
Caught yourself.
I'll respect the appreciation of the set design because I could tell that it was like they were trying to emulate the stage production. That kind of really like gaudy, like really bright, colorful, like Broadway stage play production-y type thing. I feel like that's what it was trying to emulate. But and you say the lights and colors were cool, but when it's lighting and coloring such ugly fucking creatures, it's not good. Like it's still not a thing that I want to look at.
It's a highly polished, well lit turd.
Good.
Yeah.
It's so good how angry you are, like actually angry.
Oh, I don't know. I like using. I don't know.
It's like I feel like a sunflower, and you're just like the sun. It's just like I love that. Just soaking it in. 'Cause it kind of validates my like feelings of it too. So it's just like
I will be honest. I'm running low on dopes left.
I only heard like 3, so that's. I mean,
Well, TJ already covered the
that's
Mr.
right,
Mephistopheles.
Oh, that was on yours.
Yeah, it was.
He was also the best character, like overall too. I liked him a lot. As much as you, I mean,
Mr.
part of it's because like
Hat?
who else can you really care
The
for?
magician.
Well, okay, I liked Ian McKellen too because
Mr.
it was cute, but
Yeah.
Okay, here's go ahead.
I was just gonna say I liked
Yeah, we
I liked Judi Dench only because I thought she looked exactly like my cat, like because he's like he's like old as shit too, so he's like all like
he would be old Deuteronomy.
yeah.
Oh, that's what we got to do. This will be hard for me because I have 6. We got to apply each of your cats to the cats, and then we have to do all of us too.
Oh, which one? I don't know. I don't know which one my cat would be.
Okay. I've got an old Deuteronomy, and then what was the asshole cat that trapped Victoria? In the house
With this
with the
movie,
dog
you have
and
to be more
jewelry.
specific than asshole cat because like we just talked so much about like the butthole
You
cuts.
mean Rumple Teaser and Mungo Jerry?
I hate
Mungo
those.
Jerry. Yeah,
those,
I got a
those are
Mungo
nonsense
Jerry.
words. Those are
Okay.
nonsense words. I hate it so much.
What?
Just like
Oh.
you know how you remember like in Donnie Darko, like cellar door is like the most beautiful combination of words.
That's the opposite.
I think rumple teaser is the exact opposite. It's like
I
the
did
most.
hate how they said it too. Like they never. I don't think I would have known what her name was.
Malteser.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known what the name was if I didn't have the subtitles on.
Yeah.
It was like broken down so weird.
I did know most. Well, like I think everybody who had a song at least, I knew everybody's name because I like looked them up ahead of time. And personally, if we're being a contrarian here, I love the names. I love the names in this. That is like my favorite. That's like my favorite like single element of
Taylor
the
Swift is okay.
of cats in general. I love Mr. Mistopheles. That's such a cool name.
Except it's just gibberish.
McCavitt. Yeah, it is. Monkus Trap.
You
is
could
good.
come up with
Christopher Jones is so good.
that one's kind of cheating, but like you could come up with 5 new cats names, like just saying random like Junga Krunga and see you liked
bad.
it.
That's not bad.
You liked it.
If
Yeah,
that was it
Actually,
takes on a
in that.
different weight when it's actually in a legitimate stage production and Hollywood movie that there's characters named Bombalurina and Skimbleshanks and Mungo Jerry. Like,
Well, I'm gonna write a play and name somebody Junga Krunga, and then we'll get that.
Junga Krug. Tubba Blubba.
James Gordon.
This may be
What's that?
a controversial
James
take,
Gordon's cat.
Yeah.
but I was a fan of including the Victoria character as an element, so that like
for sure, yeah, as like an
Like-
anchor.
yeah, because like in the stage production, there is no fourth wall. They're just talking to the audience the whole time. We're Jellicle cats. This is each of us. Oh, look, one of us gets to go to heaven because we all hate our lives and want to die. And I thought it was really neat how they tied in this Victoria character, where they were just kind of introducing her to their culture, and then that allowed Judi Dench to be able to say like, you know what, you get to be one of us. And since she like is us, the viewer kind of like we're supposed to like.
She's a good
relate to
analog
her
for the viewer
in that way.
because she also looks like just blissed out and confused as hell throughout the entire thing. So I think that's actually a perfect analog for how I felt. Just like,
Yeah, exactly.
See, yeah, and I guess
Amazing.
the difference between you and me though is that, like Victoria, my response is to dance.
oh.
And yours is to fall asleep.
Yeah, I did fall asleep in the theater. I was tired, and like she looked over at me, and I was doing that. I do the thing that my grandma does when she falls asleep, where I was like leaning forward, and I was just like, like
And I was like,
it's
Wait,
just like
you
look
say,
at
when you're falling asleep?
it's like a groan almost, just like a like like one of the ghosts in Phasmophobia. I'm just like she was telling me that apparently Steven Spielberg was gonna write this movie, but he was attached in some way, but like couldn't just because there was like
power.
there's no story.
there's like no story because it's 60 minutes of cats introducing themselves by singing like a 5-minute song that's like where the main chorus is their name.
So it's just like,
Yeah, I agree that like I think I even said that to Cleo when we watched that like that was a good change. Using her, like, because it is nice to have a drive, so it's not just like it's just hopping completely disjointed. At least there's some sort of connection.
I kind of
But, like,
felt like
still,
how I
it's
was
like
when I
these-
tried to
these
watch
posi-
Dune for the first time, like David Lynch's Dune.
Mhm.
Where it's just like I was just thrown into like a world, and I'm like, I don't know who any of these like the movie just is just like, this is the world, these are the characters, and we're not going to do anything for you in terms of like explaining like anything. It's just like, this is the character and this is the world and this is what's going on. You figure it out. You didn't read the source material. Sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, all these positives that you're bringing up, like, while I agree with them, it's still not like it doesn't make the movie better for me. Like, I'm like, yeah, okay, it was a smart choice for them to add Victoria as an analog. Okay, it gets another star or something like that. It's like I don't want to award the movie for doing something competent. Like, just because everything else is so terrible and it does like, 3 things that are like, hey, that's how a movie works. Good job. Like, it's just like, okay.
It's such a low bar.
It's like the pretty person with like every pretty person has like ugly friends to make themselves look better. But in this case, the pretty person is just like normal looking. They're not even pretty. It's just
And they're
kinda-
wearing a skin suit.
Yeah, that they can take off.
I think it's important to balance the Victoria change with the fact that they totally fucked it up at the end with the closing number where Judi Dench just like turns to the camera and is like, "A cat is not a dog. This is how you should treat a cat."
That I forgot about that.
creepy.
I think
Don't like
I
it.
was certainly awake in the movie theater when she turned and looked. I think
Like the tears
I think when that happened in the theater, I did one of like I did like
Wait, were you asleep? And then it was like,
I mean,
like
I
when somebody's staring at you in real life and it wakes you up. Did her staring at you through the screen wake you up?
I think
Yeah.
I woke up for the third act, if you want to even call any of that anything.
Sure. Yeah.
But I just remember like being like, okay, this is almost done, and then she like turns and looks, and I was just like at attention, just like
You thought you were still asleep and you're like dreaming.
Imagine if they did this movie in 3D in theater.
I was just thinking that. The Judi Dench.
ugh.
Like,
Oh,
zoom.
cat, take off your hat.
Oh.
That whole ending number, like, I was like, it the way that it was presented and sung and everything, if it was a different, it had different lyrics and stuff, it felt like perfect way. Like, again, I'm going back to Les Mis. It ends with like a big dramatic number like that. I'm like, this is so Oscar baity. It's such an Oscar bait moment. but she's talking about how you fucking address a cat and that it's a cat, not a dog.
I'm just waiting
Which
for it to go into like funny
the
game.
original play. Like it's balancing like what. That's just the play. That's not the movie.
Yeah. It's like they couldn't even if they tried, they couldn't have sung it to Victoria either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
They
the whole
not done it.
That's what I was thinking. Just end after.
After
Yeah.
the thing. Like why not?
They could have just cut. Yeah, they could have cut that. They could have cut all the other songs and just like had colors play on the screen, like
Yeah.
in a pleasing pattern, and then just like credits roll, and it just says Tom Hooper, and that's it.
Yeah, she's like breaking the fourth wall, and I'm just expecting it to turn into like funny games or something.
and then you just hear some tap dancing.
Yeah, tap dancing. Yep.
Yeah.
Tap dancing in colors. So basically, like Fantasia, but
Yeah.
It's just that middle scene in Singing in the Rain.
You mean like
yeah.
wait,
Yeah,
just-
where he goes into the weird place with the weird colors.
Or it's like
Oh no, okay.
Just do that.
Yeah.
Gotta
like-
dance.
It's this. I don't know. This reference might be lost on you guys, but it's if they ended it with like just the primary colors, it's like that 6 hour long album that got put out, the Everywhere at the End of Time. That's like what it's like to go through the stages of dementia, where it's really depressing. But the movie starts out this like colorful, and then by the end, it's just like primary colors floating in a pleasing pattern
Whoa.
in front of you. Sorry, I got a little dark there. It's really interesting project. It's like this
Do
dude.
you think that's what Judi Dench sees at the end of the movie?
That's what she made me feel at the end of the movie.
She's like 24/7. She's like on. She's knocking on the door.
Like,
I mean,
like Henry Cavill's mustache, they had to like CGI edit out,
see
or
her
like her
figure.
oxygen on her face. They had to like.
yeah.
I gotta grab a cat, which is actually pretty.
Ooh,
It's a good command to use right now.
where's my cat at?
Probably downstairs.
She's probably downstairs.
I didn't see her.
Yeah, we never finished that. What is your cat? Which one is your? Is it a Mr. Mistopheles?
I think we've come to the conclusion that my cat is the Taylor Swift cat, I guess.
Oh shit.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, he did it twice and said put 2 cats on your lap in honor of cats. Okay, I'm gonna try.
Oh my god.
Okay. Wait, do you have cats? No, you don't, because your dad hates cats, right?
He's talking to you, Moose.
He's talking to me.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't know my cat, so how do you... No, we don't have any cats. We have a dog who just exists. He doesn't do anything except poop.
Yeah.
Well, I would ask you what cat your dog is, but Judi Dench made it very clear that
I don't know if it's gonna work.
A cat is not a dog. That's
Can't do
true.
can't do it.
Very true.
Okay, let's see.
I think that was as close enough as. Oh, are they both in your lap right now?
Yeah.
Oh,
Huh?
are they both in your lap?
Yeah. Let me.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Oh, she's really dark, but yeah. So this is our Victoria, because she's the new. dainty
Oh,
one.
yeah.
This one's. I don't know. She's probably. Maybe Jenny Any Dots. I don't know.
Ooh.
Lays around all day and then cleans up at night
Yeah.
and trains her thing.
Eats
Or
car-
you know what? Her
Nice.
and our other cat, one of our other cats, because they're like buddy. They could be Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser actually.
Mungo Jerry. I don't even know what that means. I mean, it's all nonsense. None of it means anything.
It sounds like somebody's name from like Clockwork Orange or something
Yeah.
It
does kinda.
It kind of yeah.
when he's in the gang or whatever.
Oh, she's not feeling it. It's okay.
Honestly, I think I've been thinking, Travis, if my mom's dog was a cat and was in this movie, he would straight up just be one of the background cats that doesn't do anything.
Okay.
Just doesn't even sing, just is there.
Oh,
That would have been funny. if
Just
they
got
had
like $50 to be on the set for a few days.
yeah.
Take up space.
yeah, he's just here for like the free food on set.
Yeah, that's right. Kalia said Mungo Jerry was the band that did "In the Summertime When the Weather's Hot." Da, 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 da. You know that song? It's a really old song.
I think
So
so.
which one came first?
I think the band. You guys don't know that song?
Well, is Mungo
No.
Jerry in the T.S. Eliot version? Because that was
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure all of them are. Oh, that's a good point. Where does it's like a chicken or the egg?
yeah.
It's a Mungo Jerry or the Mungo Jerry.
A cat is not a dog, but it is a chicken.
But it's a possum.
Oh yeah. that T.S. Eliot book is from 1939, so I think that probably predates it.
Yeah, probably. If well, maybe. Oh yeah. There's Mungo Jerry. Yep.
1970s.
Yeah.
Man, these are some cool cats.
You got women on your side. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah, okay, I know what song you're talking about.
Thank you. I was gonna keep singing it until
Until someone validated it.
Acknowledged it.
yes,
You got
correct.
got.
Xavier.
Oh, well, what do you...
Before we quit, I think we ought to draw attention to the fact that whenever McCavity kidnaps someone, he like shouts his name into the night.
Oh yeah.
McCavity!
And why didn't they have Jason Derulo play that part instead?
So wait,
Oh, man,
does that happen in the stage production?
I don't.
There's no kidnapping.
He's
except
there.
for Deuteronomy.
Yeah, because I was like, how would they have done
For
that?
Deuteronomy, okay.
Like
Because
those trap
he's
doors
there,
or something? Yeah.
But yeah, it's not quite as major of a thing.
Yeah, just that makes me like dislike it more. Like they forced stuff in that wasn't there, and it didn't help it at all.
Mhm.
This plot, it's too
And then
thin.
how he
We
just
were-
freaking like he grabs onto the hot air balloon. He's like, "Yes, I'm gonna go to the heavy zone." What no? Just falls to the ground. Just, dude.
Because if
Why
he could have
did they
just done
do that?
just do that in the first place. Just come up with some kind of harness that you can clip to it instead of trying to like kill every cat. to get-
Yeah. Why was this not Plan A?
Man, Kalia thought she just why is he wearing a fur coat? That's weird. And that was kind of weird. But then like the first time you see him without wearing anything, holy shit, that was weird. For some reason, it was so much weirder to see him like maybe I
think
don't
that's
know
the point.
that he looks weird.
Yeah, that he's just like a kind of a freak
Oh, maybe.
trying to blend in or something.
And he was the only one they bothered to give cat eyes too.
Really? I didn't know.
Oh.
Yeah, everybody else has
Yeah, I know.
normal people eyes,
Mm-hmm,
and then he's got like the glowing like greenish, yellowish.
mm-hmm.
He actually wore the motion capture balls like on his eyeballs while he was so that's how they got his cat eyes on there. He's just like I couldn't see anything.
No wonder he couldn't hold on to the rope.
Yeah.
Maybe that's his real eyes.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Actually.
Okay. I mean, I feel like we've kind of wrung this dry. I'm gonna check the. I'm gonna scroll through. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that, like, any of this song.
Would you say that the cat is in the bag?
Oh fuck. Yeah, just about. I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, the ball. The Wikipedia description: the ball is interrupted by femme fatale bombalurina.
Weird.
Is that what she is?
Oh.
Oh, yeah. The whole. I'm glad I did read this. The whole catnip sequence. I didn't even think about that in conjunction with the Taylor Swift scene, but it was just enough. Like the people behind this, they've never owned a cat before. Like they don't.
You'll have to jog my memory. What happens in the catnip scene?
It's Taylor Swift song.
Wait. Before Nick, what do you think happens in the cat? Just give me a little pitch.
Okay. I mean, do they like break out catnip and like do it like a recreational drug? Or does it make them weirdly horny like everything else does in the movie?
That's a little bit closer, yeah.
Yeah, those are my best guesses.
Sure made me weirdly horny.
Okay.
She's because like when she's doing her song, she's like floating down on the little like moon thing, and she has a can or whatever, and she's like shaking it, and it's like going out, spreading out among all of them, and they like breathe it in, and it's like mind control. And they're just all like horned out, like writhing around on the ground. And yeah, I don't know. It like that's somewhat what happens to some cats, but like I don't know. It was just very. It just really felt like
it's like Mad Max Fury Road, just like
yeah. Yeah, it just felt like another example of like them not understanding cats, I guess. I don't know.
I just developed a theory that I don't know who watches It's Always Sunny, but there's a scene where one of the characters goes to another character's house to see what it's like to live in that person's shoes, Charlie. And Charlie says they get in there and he's like, you got to eat a bunch of cat food and then pass out. 50 cats out there making a bunch of noise, and I just realized Charlie Kelly lives like adjacent to the cats universe. They're doing the whole time. He just hears like, but they're really singing like terrible music. That's the whole thing.
I thought you were gonna say that like that's how he sees cats too. Like he sees them like IRL cats. Like
he looks down and they're just like singing songs at him.
Yeah.
Introducing themselves.
That kind of makes sense. Like if Charlie Kelly actually wrote Cats the musical.
As a sequel to Dame Man.
He's like, hey, that's totally... Rumpel Teaser.
Yeah, all those names.
Those are Charlie names.
Wormhat.
Vermhat.
Vermhat is the perfect name for one of those weird ass cats. It'd be perfect.
Yeah. Damn, that's good. That's a good headcanon to end it off on. I think
it's like the ending of Saint Elsewhere, but it's just like Charlie Kelly like holding a snow globe, and there's just Rumpel Teaser in it.
Like that could fix the whole movie if they just played that scene like right before the movie, and then just play Cats, and then the end of Cats. Go back to Charlie and he like wakes up and it's like, okay, that was just like a really weird episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Okay. Do we want to do ratings? Do we all want to do the we can do out of 5 out of 10 whatever. I was just going to go off of what I did on Letterboxd just cuz I have that there. That's out of 5 stars, but you can do half stars, so it's essentially
basically out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I guess I'll go first. I was like I said, I was fluctuating. I went with the 2 out of 10. Because I just like I said, like I feel like it felt wrong to give it a 1.
You say 2 out of 10 or 2 out of 5?
2 out of 10.
So one star.
1 star out of 5.
Okay.
Just because, like I said, like it like how I was saying, it didn't quite. It was a garbage pile of a movie, but it didn't quite reach the lows that I was maybe expecting it, and I feel like I have seen and will see worse movies, I guess, because at the very least there's like the little entertainment value, and there were like the little things, so it felt wrong to give it the lowest. And also at the same time I was like, I could have given it like 4 stars, but I feel like the 2 out of 10 is.
Wait, what is the lowest?
Huh?
Is the lowest 1 out of 10?
Oh yeah,
or 0?
That's what I was thinking. 1.
Let's stick to, we're gonna go out of 10. Okay.
Okay.
So It didn't feel right giving it a 1 out of 10, but I was saying I could have also given it like an 8 out of 10. You know, in like a backwards thinking
Convoluted
type way,
kind of.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's entertaining because it's so
I think
bad type thing.
Yeah, I think that factors into my rating, which I think I'm tempted to go also like 2 out of 10, maybe 2.5. I'll give it the version where you can see all their hands and feet and like beeholes a 3 out of 10. I'll give that version a slightly higher.
Okay.
Because it's like it's like
Uncensored version.
Yeah, the Snyder cut, because it is it is terrible, but it is in some moments like very, very, very entertaining in the ways that a terrible movie can be entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like I'll give it some redeeming qualities for that, but like the void of like the 7 points is all because of Rebel Wilson.
Yeah.
What about James Corden though?
Can I give a rating?
Oh yeah, hold on. Give a rating. we got a rating.
Okay.
I give it a 2 out of 9 lives. Thank you, folks.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Nice.
So that's the
Nice.
highest score yet.
That is the highest score yet. Yes.
You go, Travis, because I want to hear Moose's last.
Okay. I kind of feel the same. I feel like dirty if I were to give it a 1, just because
Right.
a lot of people that worked on it and put a lot of like time and effort, especially like the not
Choreographers?
no no the one guy who did the tap dancing. Okay, he gets he gets half a star just by himself. The other half a star goes to like the crew and like the CGI, the guys who had to work with the shitty mocap that they did.
Just because it looked ugly didn't mean that it wasn't like in a way like
They did the best they could.
yeah
Yeah.
thing.
Get the bag. You got to
Like,
secure the
they're
bag.
professionals.
Like,
I'm sure they could
Yeah.
have done a better job if they had been like supplied with like
There was a lot of heart put into it. It just
oh,
no. fell
Oh.
fell short in the ways that it did.
yeah, so 2
2.
Out of
Okay.
10.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
go.
Go
So you
ahead.
said 2.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, it's a solid 6. Solid 6 out of 10. I had a good time.
That's a D. I mean,
I mean it see, it has to be better than half, you know, because I really might watch it again, especially the tap dancing and, you know, the hands on Idris Elba's chest and just like not like, what do they say? I laughed, I cried, it moved me, Bob.
Nice.
It was.
That's another
I had it in
VeggieTales
the colors. But yeah, it definitely cannot earn any more than a D than that 6. I have standards.
I see how you're thinking of it. Like,
Yeah.
see, we perceive 6s differently, but I see how you're doing that, comparing with a D. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like. Like, there's been like things about like why like letter gradings are like don't work for movies, because it forces you to kind of like think in that way. To me, like hearing you say that and stuff, especially saying D, to me your 6 is a 4.
No, because it's better than half.
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you to. No,
I know what you mean.
If you,
like,
I feel like we have different points
Scales.
systems or something. Because like to me, a 6 is like you're saying like it's a 6 because it's got to be better than average because I might watch it again. A 6 to me is something that I would definitely watch again. A 6 is something that I really enjoy.
Then what does 5 mean? What's the meaning of a halfway mark?
5 is probably more like that's getting closer to like I don't know if I'll watch that again, maybe. But I think people
way too much space between 6 and 10. It seems like
no, there's not. Trust me, I have it broken down in my head. I know.
It's wrong.
Okay, maybe I'm going too high with the 6. Maybe it's like 6 and 7 is right there, and like 8 is like 8 and above are rare for me, I guess I would say. Those are like really special movies for me. 6s and 7s are movies that I enjoy, or like 7s especially are movies that I really really like. But like a 6 is one that I would categorize as definitely would watch again.
Well, he said he was gonna watch it.
That's interesting.
So
I really
that's
think
why
I'll
I'm
watch
saying,
it again.
That's why I'm
Maybe
saying
not definitely.
I just
Yeah.
want to say the first time you get a pass on, the second time it's a sin. Like that's it. You know, you're doing it for something. It doesn't count.
But that's why I was saying that, like, to me your 6 is like, I'm not trying to like devalue it or change it I'm not trying to get you to say okay it's a 4 or something, but
Well, no, I think it's important for our listeners and viewers that we all kind of have a sort of more or less standard scale.
yeah, I suppose so.
That so you can compare them.
We'll have to kind of come to like an average or something like that. We'll have to like kind of figure out like I guess I'm
maybe we'll have to like come up with a description for each number sometime this week, and then we can all agree on it.
Yeah,
and then I can go back and revise.
Yeah. Write it down in the annals.
But yeah, so that it's recorded for when we analyze it later. I had a good time. It hit me in the emotions at most of the places where it intended to, and it looked pretty. Got a little aroused at times, and
Judi Dench just does it for me.
Yeah, that definitely.
And I would watch it again. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again.
Okay.
I wouldn't put a lot of effort into making sure that I watch it again. But
But if it's on, you're like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Exactly.
To you, I know Travis has watched it. I think maybe Nick has watched or listened, I should say. But I think Nick has maybe listened to it too. But to you, Moose, and to people watching, you should listen to the podcast My Week with Cats. By it might be under the header of the worst idea of all time.
I've never listened to the worst idea of all time, but like I know the general gist of what it is.
So this one, it's like a mini season. Like normally they do it over the course of a year, but this one they watched Cats every day. They went to the theater and saw it every day for a week, and then recorded a podcast afterwards and like their thoughts. And it's so it's only 7 episodes, so it's short. But it's pretty good.
Man,
it's a really good show.
You can see, maybe you'll see, like, because I feel like after the first viewing, I feel like they're in between. They're like kind of in the middle of all of our opinions, kind of, and then just like their degradation of like,
they're slowly losing it.
Like I love like the later episodes. Like I always love the episodes where it starts and guy just like, I don't think I can do this anymore, Tim.
That's a really good impression. That's really good. Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Guy.
I was actually a little bit mad when you told me that it was this, because their whole motto is like, don't watch them, we'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have to watch it. And then you said it was Cast, and I was like, well, now I have to break the fourth wall of this show that I really like.
Wait,
watch
but you
a shitty movie.
But you've already listened to that one, right? The Cats one?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's like a.
Like never. Well,
never watch the movie.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Just live through their experience of the movie.
Exactly. I mean, they tell you about it 52 times. Like, normal season. So like.
Yeah. Their normal seasons is the same movie once a week for an entire year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Cats would be the only one of those, like that they've done that I have seen now. But after watching it, that was like my first thought is I really want to go listen to that one again, just to see,
Yeah.
just to kind of because it will be like I don't really want to watch Grown Ups 2 or Sex and the City 2 or anything, but it'll be interesting to hear one of their podcasts knowing the context.
They did a Home Alone 3 too.
Oh, do they really?
Oh, I remember watching
I
that
haven't
as a
gotten
kid.
that. I liked that movie. Yeah.
So did
Yeah, yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Good.
Are we in wrap it up territory?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Very good. That was a good. That went a lot better than I thought, and we're over 2 hours.
Yeah.
So, awesome.
Oh yeah.
I guess we can plan for a 2-hour window.
Yeah.
Next week.
That's a really good sign that we squeezed 2 hours out of Cats. So
Yeah.
It's only
next one we might get 4.
Yeah, it's only up from here.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to wrap up other than next week's movie. And I want to preface by saying that had I realized the timing, I would have put this off for another week and just made this the first movie of the thing. But once I decided, finally to start doing it, I really wanted to start, and because I wanted to start talking. I wanted to start doing this. So I didn't mean to do 2 joke meme movies in a row. But it's very timely, and I feel like I have to. But I promise the next one will not be an objectively terrible movie.
Oh boy.
It'll be one that's
Travis's face right now.
we're gonna watch Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Ooh.
Okay.
I've never.
yeah.
Okay,
That
I
one
haven't
doesn't
seen
hurt
like
as much.
any of those, like really any of like the Justice League movies. So
Yeah, so this one I might have to do like if you guys have HBO Max, I don't know,
Yeah,
but
got it.
otherwise I might have to do a screening for you guys because it comes out next Thursday. It's not out yet.
Oh, you're talking about the Snyder.
We're watching the new one that's 4 hours long.
Oh, you are.
As she taps my arm like,
Yeah, in the
okay.
background while I do other shit.
So it comes out on HBO Max next Thursday. So I can either try to do I can hold a screening for us like on Discord Thursday night or Friday early or something.
Okay.
I would need that. I don't have HBO.
I'm going because I guess I like to torture myself, and I've never seen it. I'm gonna watch the original one too, the one that came out in 2017.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch that as well. That's also on HBO, but that one's probably more widely available because it's a few years old at this point.
Yeah.
And it's under 2 hours, which is good, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna watch that one. I'm not going to, the only one that we gotta watch is the new one.
Okay.
But just I'm interested to see if it'll like add anything or just to. I guess I want to. Never having seen it, I guess I kind of want to
Have some context.
have the comparison, because the whole thing is the old one sucks, the new one's gonna be great because it's his true vision. So I feel like I should watch the original, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Fair.
To see what the studios did to him.
yeah. So
Cool.
Yeah, that's it. Good,
Sounds good.
good chats,
Good
guys.
teamwork, everyone.
We did it.
That was yeah.
We did it.
I feel bad now. I just I feel sick.
Is that on your camera, Travis? There's like a pixel missing.
Yeah, it's probably my
It is?
camera.
Okay, I didn't know if it was my screen or.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like hardly noticeable. I just didn't know if it was my screen.
Which pixel?
It's right by his pointer finger.
Oh, I see it.
There's
Whoa.
one. There's one right here too.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Now I can't unsee them. Oh my god, now it's just so green.
Oh shit, there's one right there too. Yeah,
Oh,
I only
no.
noticed that one.
Oh man, they almost kind of blend
now
in.
I can't unsee it. It's there forever now.
He's just you're like a screensaver looking for dead pixels. Boo. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Cool. We can. Yeah, we'll figure out if we do want to do it. If you guys need to, time up a good time and all that. But yeah, good talks.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
Think of a better sign off in the future, but
And that's movie magic.
see ya
All
at
right.
the theaters. I don't know.
All right, I'll see you guys.
No.
One last bye. Say bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.